So extremely excited to be here. It's been a terrific day, always is, talking about the Cal Bears and the wonderful young women I get to coach. Pac-12 Networks does an incredible job every year with this event, and you all being here just speaks to the commitment to women's basketball in this conference and on the West Coast, so we're excited. Our team, I know all you guys are going to ask this, so I walked into practice today, first practice, and I looked around and said, okay, no Brittany, no Rashonda. What do we do now? My first time as the head coach at Cal without those two, but it's been refreshing and fun and challenging and exciting that we have a group of young players who, obviously everyone's proud of the success we've had and the players that have come through. You know, Leja's playing in WNBA finals tonight and Brittany and Rashonda and the others, but I think we have a young group that wants to say, this is just the beginning and we haven't gotten yet to where Cal can go. And that's been their mentality every day in practice. I think they know that it's a work in progress. They understand that we're young and that there are challenges in front of us, but I think they're dialed in and locked into meeting those challenges and being better than people expect us to be. It's a versatile group. We're youthful, got kids who can play multiple positions. So it's going to challenge me, it's going to challenge them, and hopefully the results will be something special.
Coach, do you see any parallels between this team and the 2011-12 team, your first season, when you didn't have any seniors that went on to have a really good season?
Yeah, I do actually, and I told the team this when I was prepping for our first team meeting of the year. It felt a lot like my first year, heading into that first year, and I realized that there's nobody in the room that was sitting there when I was there the first year, so it's kind of a reset on everything, and that some of the principles and the staples that you all would recognize as Cal basketball, I had to go back and talk about them again and make sure that everyone was dialed into those things. And I think that's been a really healthy and positive process for us. I think the fact that the similarities to that year are that we've got a lot of young players with eyes wide who are very talented who say, take us where we want to go. And they're looking for that leadership from us, and then they're running with it. So there are some similarities there for sure.
Larry Scott just hours ago mentioned, Cal's trip to China and the UW men going to China next month, and just maybe that all of that paving the way for a women's game in China. What has been Cal's role in helping that progression with your trip a couple years ago?
I think it's my willingness to buy into the progressive nature of this conference, and Larry Scott saying that the Pacific Rim and China is a new kind of opportunity for all of us, and I'm like, okay, we're in, we'll go. We also now have a young woman from China, 6'7", Chen Yu, stepped off the plane from Beijing and has integrated with our teammates, and so I'm open to being the first women's game in China. I think educational opportunities for our student athletes that go beyond the court are always something that you grasp when you can. I think the fact that football is now being streamed and Pac-12 football being seen in China, it's just incredible. They love basketball there, and why not be the ones to step out and say, okay, we'll do something new. So anything that we can do to be part of what this conference is looking to do to be the best in the world, we want to do that.
Will you rock, paper, scissors, like neighbors for that, or he wants
Why does he want to go?
He wants a game too.
Maybe we'll shoot for it.
Okay.
How's his jumper looking?
Mikayla, Elliot Ullman, San Jose Mercury News, Contra Costa Times, blah, blah, blah. Without the two senior leaders, you were a freshman last year, and you're kind of like the veteran here on this team. What's that going to be like in fostering a leadership?
Last we did lose Brittany and Rashonda and a bunch of our seniors who were kind of like the leaders of the team. This year, we're focused on, having coaching staff and Lindsay kind of pave the way and lead us into our Cal brand. And also, it's not just one person that we're looking for this year. It's kind of like everybody coming together and merging as one to lead one another. So it's not just one individual person or just me or Gabby or any of the upperclassmen. I think it's all of us collectively as a unit.
How's the point guard competition looking these days?
It's good. We have multiple ball handlers. Gabby Green is 6'2". She's just a unique physical athlete, and at her size, her skill set is incredible. I said this before. We had some WNBA coaches in the gym the other day. We have no seniors, but they're still here, and they're really excited about Mikayla, and I think Gabby, they just see her as this very unique talent. She handles the ball, has great vision. She'll play a lot of point guard for us this year. And Asia Thomas from Oakland, 5'4", very heady. I said, she's like a freshman going on 35 with her mindset. She just has a real, mature demeanor. So I think those two would be the majority of point guard play for us. Bree Kavanaugh from New Jersey also can really handle the ball. She's been out with a concussion, so we don't know when we'll have her back.
Who are the 10 players in your roster? Is that where you graduated a lot of people, but that can be a challenge if anybody's picked up or sick or anything, you can't even how's it affected kind of what you want to do this year?
Yeah, it's not probably exactly how you would script it, but we went to the Final Four. We had 10 players, so that worked for us. And 10 last year. So we've done it. It also obviously frees up spots for an incoming recruiting class. So everything I sort of do has a plan to it. It makes life for me. I have to be very prepared and very organized. The drills, I can't have a lot of excess things that don't have a purpose. We use our male practice players very efficiently. And to be honest with you, having smaller numbers, and like I said, we've even had some injuries out this first 8 or 9 practices. I think the 8, 9 that have been going are extremely more advanced in 8 days than they would have been, because you can kind of get clean reps and then move on. So obviously, like everybody, we need to stay healthy, but we're excited about the group that we have.
Mikayla, you were talking about coming together as a team. You have a pretty deep freshman class with 5 girls coming in. How have they blended with you guys so far?
Oh, they're wonderful people on and off the court. They came in here super talented. We work out every day, so I see like their potential, their capabilities, and they're just merged immediately. Like, it's not just like a drop off or anything. They play hard every day. They give extreme energy, and we're already clicking. Our chemistry is great on and off the court, like I said, and it already seems to fit so well together.
What are some specific things that you see in some of those freshmen that will help you this season?
I just see like a willingness to learn more, and like even for myself, like I'm learning every day from Lindsay, but through them I see like they're willing to ask me questions and look at me for guidance, and I'm willing to give it to them. So just having them be able to step back and be like, I need help in this. I mean, like, how do you do this? How do you run this? And I'm willing to give them advice. So it's just nice to have them be able to want to ask questions and want to know more through me.
Did you guys get together over the summer and just talk about how you're going to be? I mean, with practices and everything, you lost 2 professionals, 2 All-American type players, and although you guys are very talented, everybody gets that, but still, that's such a big loss. I'm just wondering if you kind of made a plan on like, this is how we're going to conduct ourselves as we go forward.
No, yeah, we're aware that we lost Brittany and Rashonda, but it's like we're very confident in who we have coming back. The players that we do have are incredible players, and we talked about in the summertime during conditioning, during our workouts. We talked about how hard we have to go and how great we can be. We just have to be willing to always work hard and always challenge our best, which is our motto this year. And we talked about it, we discussed it, but we know where we can go, where we can be, and we're confident in the players that we have and where we can go.
Elliot, I sort of conscientiously in the spring. So the spring is an interesting time because your seniors are sort of moving on to other things, and your incoming freshmen aren't here yet. So you have this unique time with a small group of returners. And my nickname with the team sometimes is Jeezy. So we started this thing called Lessons with Jeezy, where just we met about different things like once a week. Because we knew that these returners were going to be key, not just basketball-wise, but leadership. So, Mikayla talked about the mentality of the freshmen. I had them watch the Duke men's basketball press conference after they won the national championship. I don't know if any of you watched that, but the synergy between, the star freshmen, Okafor and the guard, that they wouldn't have won the national championship without those guys, but they also wouldn't have won, without the senior who had been there for all the, those years, and the way that they sort of complemented one another, that the freshmen were humble enough to need guidance, and the seniors were sort of self-assured enough to know you need these guys to win. We talked about that with our returners. We said we're going to need these freshmen, but they're going to need your guidance, and you're going to need to let them be great because they're great, and you're going to need to be able to be there for them. So we've consciously tried to say, okay, this is the team we have. We're not going to have seniors. What can I do to get them ready? And then you kind of let it play out how it's supposed to play out. And that's the fun part. Can't say enough about Mikayla. I mean, she's a sophomore. You're supposed to be a sophomore and to show up and play. And I'm looking at her saying, lead us, shoot the ball, be a great player that you are, guide the freshmen. And I think our 3 sophomores have done an incredible job sort of taking on more than they normally would have to. But they're rising to that challenge, and it's fun to watch.
Lindsay, what are those meetings? What are some of the other topics? Those meetings, because curiously, a week ago, the men's team
Yeah.
does a similar thing. That they're doing weekly meetings about life issues.
Yes, we've done everything. We've done use of social media. We've done social skills, just in general. How to just ways to interact, to be positive. To get as much out of your experience as you can. We're going to do financial stuff. We've done media training with it. We've done meetings just about team stuff, like whatever I see as a potential issue or an issue. Sometimes I'll bring up something that's happening in the world that may not be necessarily, don't think it's relevant to us, but it triggers something that we say, okay, this is something we can learn even though it's not our direct situation. So all kinds of different topics. They like it. I think they like the time with me where it's not X's and O's. They like learning from each other. I mean, that's really good.
Do you expect us to see Christine dunking much this season?
I think she's going to dunk before her career's over. I mean, I say that seriously. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Christina Anigwe, our freshman post player. Those of you in the room who've seen us play know it's a pretty big statement when I say I think she may be the most athletic player we've ever had. She gets over the rim easily. She can't palm the ball, so I think she has to learn how to kind of dunk it without the ability to just kind of grab onto the ball. I think it'll happen eventually. I'm more concerned, with her making baskets and playing defense. And she's a freshman, so there's going to be obviously mistakes, but she just has an incredible motor, terrific athlete, wants to be great, loves the game of basketball, a really fun teammate that they enjoy. I think we're going to see a lot of great things from her, and she's going to have an opportunity to step in because of our situation with graduating, a pro post player. There's opportunity for her to step right in and make an impact.
Tara just brought up the Warriors and how much she's learned watching their games on TV. You guys just went to practice as a staff.
Yeah.
Is that just an example for all Bay Area basketball and beyond? But
yeah.
Well, what have you learned from watching that?
I mean, the first thing I think it speaks to Steve Kerr and his leadership style and how open he is. Both of his kids are at Cal now, so he, called and said, "Come on over." I went to a couple practices. I went to the game last night, and the interesting thing is, we had a conversation, and we're 10 minutes into it, and he was asking about our players and then who we're running at the point and what we're going to run. And I'm like, wait, you're coaching the Warriors. Let's talk about Steph and Clay. So I think he's just really open to that. But also, I think Tara's a great example, and I'd like to follow that. If you're a basketball coach, you have to keep learning and studying. And what I like about watching them is in a lot of ways they sort of embody this positionless game moving forward. Having a Draymond who can sort of be a point forward and pick and pop, and obviously things go through Steph, and how they use Bogut when they go big and then go small, and they can play Harrison at the 3 or the 4. This is the difference in our team this year, is that we have a lot of players that don't fit one traditional position. Mikayla Cowling could be potentially the best 4 in the country, or the best 3, or she can play the 2, or she can bring the ball up. She's really talented, so I'm looking at NBA stuff, how we can use her. I'm looking at how they use Stewie at UConn. I'm looking at how they got Jewel those lobs at Notre Dame. You got to keep learning, and just having the Warriors in our backyard and them being so open has been really helpful.
Being that versatile, one, it must be fun, but it also must be a potentially daunting challenge.
Yeah. I think the main difference last year, obviously, we had a point guard and a post player that were arguably 2 of the best at their positions in the country. That's a great luxury. That was fun. It also, I think, made us in some ways easier to prepare for, because you sort of knew what we were trying to do. This group now, on a positive note, I think will be harder to scout, because we'll run some stuff, and I've told them I don't need to call a play. Just play in space, use the spacing we're giving you, make plays, and so I think it's harder to scout. There's definitely going to be times where I'm looking, okay, how are we going to score, and at the same time, other times, how are people going to stop us? So, yeah, we have to identify who's the go-to player when we need a bucket. It's not just lob it to Rashonda. And at the same time, potentially, I think the fact that there isn't just one person you have to stop, or one person gets in foul trouble and we're going to have a hard time, I think that'll ultimately make us better.
Coach, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the non-conference game with UCLA. We heard a little bit about it from Corey Close earlier. She's saying it's not going to continue after this year, but kind of just about the decision to play UCLA.
Yeah, when the conference went to, we added the got to 12 and Utah, Colorado, and went to sort of an unbalanced schedule where you're not playing every year. There's a lot of discussion about should rivals always play rivals. We're always going to play Stanford. Should there be a California thing? And they ultimately decided that you're only going to play your travel partner, and everybody else will be on a rotating schedule. So when the year came that we're not playing UCLA and USC twice, I think the natural inclination was, hey, this is a great game that our fans love. Our players enjoy playing in it. It's tough sometimes to get high-level non-conference games without flying across the country. We're flying to Louisville to play in a non-conference game. Nebraska's coming to us. Those are great games. But to then fly again across the country might be tough. So the fact that UCLA could turn into a non-conference game and still get a high-quality opponent, we just decided to do it. I think it'll be a great crowd in our building. We were happy that they wanted to do it. It's a little odd and off script, but I think people will enjoy it.
There's an excitement around basketball this year. I've been here a long time. I haven't felt it in a long time. People are already talking about men's and women's programs and wanting to see them. What does it mean to have created that out of, years you have created that kind of nowhere?
My first question is, are you coming on Friday night, Kate? Hostage hysteria. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, it's been really neat to sort of be part of this trajectory. Part of the reason I took the job at Cal is not because, okay, this is the next move or, another place, because for me it was the job. It's the place. It's the Bay Area. We have the best fans of sports in all the country. Look at the Giants, look at the Warriors, and why not Cal? Konzo says it that way. So we felt like we could build one of the premier women's basketball programs in the country, the academics, the chance to play at the highest level, and the Bay Area community. So we think we've been on the path to that for a little while now. I am so excited about Konzo Martin and his staff and what the energy and talent they've brought to the men's program, because it's just going to be the most special thing in the world. I think we can make Haas the best atmosphere for basketball, in the nation, and to be part of it with them is really cool. Konzo is an incredible man, and the fact that recruits are drawn to him is not a shock when you're around him every day. And their young men are terrific. They're really good with the community. I think we have some of the best human beings in our locker room, not just basketball players. And so to be able to open the doors to the community and have them interact. You should have seen Mikayla last week. We did an open practice, and she was like the Pied Piper. She's walking around, and there's like 10 little kids following her, and that's what college athletics is supposed to be. So we're excited that men's and women's basketball are both kind of in this neat spot, and we're just going to keep that rolling for quite some time.
Speaking of high profile, we can't let you leave without talking about, Shonda and Brittany and Alicia today in the finals. How is that, just inspiring your players, your current players, and the team?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing is it's neat that now we have players coming in that grew up watching the players that used to play Cal. So, Kayla watched Dev and Ashley and probably some Lasia. Now Asia Thomas is watching Brittany and Rashonda, and the ones coming up are going to want to be Mikayla Cowling and Gabby Green, and our players from further away. It's nice also when they're local, but just all of them. And that's what, to me, makes me realize that we don't just have a good team, now we have a program. And in women's basketball, that's what we're trying to establish. So the WNBA and pro success is something that we're really proud of. We're certainly obviously proud of our graduates who go on to success in any number of things, but to be able to reach the pinnacle of our sport is pretty cool. We've had 4 draft picks in the last 3 years, most in the Pac-12. WNBA coaches and GMs are on our phones all the time because now they know Cal's producing pros. So we're really proud of them. The greatest thing as a coach is to see your young people successful beyond you, beyond what they're doing here. And so that's a very visible way of seeing that, with Lasia playing for WNBA championship tonight, Boyd being all rookie team, Shonda having a great rookie year, Talia playing, in Spain, and Shonda's now in Italy, Jen Brandon's in Bulgaria. It's kind of neat for the state of our program.
Anything else? Thank you.
She's close to dunking too.